humid air hung heavy, thick with the scent of frangipani and impending doom. Emily, barely a bride, felt the coarse earth pressing against her face, the weight of it stealing her breath. Above, the muffled shouts of Kenny's family faded, replaced by the suffocating darkness. They believed her a murderer, a defiler of their lineage, but Emily was innocent, a pawn in a game orchestrated long before she walked down the aisle. As consciousness slipped, a tremor ran through the earth, a low growl emanating from the depths, a harbinger of the storm to come. The ground bucked violently, throwing mourners off balance. Panic erupted. The chief priest, the figure of immense power and an ancient wisdom, stumbled, his staff nearly slipping from his grasp. His eyes, usually calm and knowing, were wide with terror. "Stop!" he bellowed, his voice cracking with urgency. "Unearth her now! The gods demand it!" Confusion reigned. Kenny's brother's faces, contorted with grief and rage, hesitated. "She killed him," one roared, his voice thick with tears. But the chief priest was unwavering, his gaze piercing. "She is innocent. Further delay would bring unimaginable calamity upon us all." Fueled by fear and superstition, they clawed at the earth, their grief momentarily overshadowed by a primal dread. Emily emerged, limp and lifeless, her beauty marred by dirt and despair. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Was she already beyond saving? The chief priest knelt, his weathered hand finding a faint pulse. "Take her to my compound." "How?" Within the chief priest's compound, Emily lay on a woven mat, her breathing shallow and erratic. The air crackled with tension. Chief Roland, Kenny's father, paced like a caged lion, his face a mask of fury and disbelief. His wife, Professor Roland, stood silently in the shadows, her expression unreadable. The chief priest, his face etched with grim knowledge, addressed the gathering. "The gods have spoken. Emily is not responsible for Kenny's death." Roland exploded. "Then who is? My son is dead. Who stole him from me?" The chief priest raised his staff, silencing the chief's outburst. "Your son's death was a consequence, Chief Roland. A consequence of broken vows and forbidden desires." He revealed Kenny's infidelity, his transgression against a sacred marriage. The crowd murmured in shock and outrage, their eyes shifting from Emily to the memory of their fallen chief son. But this was merely the surface of a far deeper and darker secret. The chief priest's gaze shifted, settling on Professor Roland. A palpable chill descended upon the compound. "The root of this tragedy lies within your own household, Roland. A debt long overdue." He unveiled the covenant Professor Roland had made with Ezimangi, the queen of the river, years ago. Her desperation for her son had bargained the powerful ancient entity, now demanded its price. The story unfolded like a nightmare. The barren womb, the societal pressure, the whispered legends of the river goddess. The Queen Mother's warning, uttered 3 times, now echoed with terrifying clarity. Kenny must marry a virgin. His wife and unborn children would belong to the river. Betrayal of this vow would bring death. Professor Roland collapsed, her carefully constructed facade crumbling. She confessed, her voice chirped with sobs, confirming the chief priest's revelations. Roland's rage was volcanic. He accused his wife of cursing his son, of sacrificing him to a dark power. The weight of her deception crushed him, shattering their family legacy. Emily, though exonerated, was cast out. Kenny's family, consumed with grief and blame, offered her no solace. She was driven from their home, stripped at her bridal finery, and left to face the scorn of the community. News of her disgrace preceded her return to her hometown.
Friends turned their backs, neighbors whispered, and old rivals wailed in her downfall. Even her own mother, initially unforgiving, struggled to reconcile her anger with her love for her daughter. Haunted by guilt and shame, Emily knew she could not rest until she sought forgiveness from Matthew, the man she had abandoned. But as she approached his house, an unsettling feeling washed over her. The house was eerily silent, the windows dark, and when the door creaked open, it wasn't Matthew that greeted her, but his younger sister, Sarah, her eyes red-rimmed and swollen. "Emily," Sarah whispered, her voice trembling, "you shouldn't be here. It's not safe." Chapter 5. The Missing Daughter. Sarah revealed the horrifying truth. Hope, Emily's daughter, was gone. Matthew had smiled into a dread tribulation in April morning. She had just simply vanished from her bed. The local police were baffled, but Matthew was convinced it was the Queen of the River, Ezinwanyi, who had taken her as a retribution for Emily breaking the covenant through a marriage to Kenny. Emily's blood ran cold. The pieces bent into place. An ace swirling, then Professor Broll in the desperate act. Kenny's death and now Hope's disappearance. It was all connected, aware of ancient magic and broken promises. Driven by a fierce maternal instinct and a burning desire to redeem herself, Emily vowed to find her daughter, even if it meant confronting the Queen of the River herself. Guided by Sarah, who possessed knowledge of local folklore, Emily embarked on a perilous journey to the sacred river. The air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness as they approached the water's edge. The river was shrouded in an eerie mist, in the silence broken only by the croaking of unseen frogs. Following Sarah's instructions, Emily performed a nature ritual, offering a sacrifice of white cloth and color knives to appease the river spirits. As the last of the offering sank beneath the surface, the water began to churn. A figure emerged from the depths, radiant and terrifying. Her eyes glowing with otherworldly power. It was Ezinwanyi, the Queen of the River. "You dare trespass in my domain, mortal?" The Queen's voice echoed, sending shivers down Emily's spine. Emily, despite her fear, stood firm. "I have come for my daughter, Hope. You too, Claire, didn't you?" Ezinwanyi's expression hardened. "She is mine by right. Your marriage to Kenny broke the covenant. A life must be given for a life." "But Hope is innocent," Emily pleaded. "She had nothing to do with the covenant. I was the one who made the mistake. Take me instead. Let Hope go." A flicker, something akin to curiosity, appeared in the Queen's eyes. "You would sacrifice yourself for your child?" Without hesitation, Emily replied with unwavering resolve. "She is all I had left." Ezinwanyi was silent for a long moment, a gaze piercing in Emily's soul. The river swirled around them, as if weighing their fates. "Very well," the Queen finally spoke. "I will release Hope, but you must take her place. You will serve me for eternity, guarding the secrets of the river and ensuring that no one else breaks their vows to me. Do you agree?" Emily knew the price was deep, but she couldn't abandon her daughter. "I'll agree," she whispered, her heart heavy with mixed despair and her love. With a wave of her hand, Ezinwanyi summoned Hope from the depths. The little girl, unharmed but disoriented, ran to her mother's arms. Emily embraced her tightly, tears streamed down her face. "Go, my darling," she whispered. "Live a good life, and never forget that I love you." As Hope and Sarah fed, Ezinwanyi seized Emily. The river enveloped her, pulling her down into the dark abyss. Years passed. The story of Emily, the disgraced bride, faded into a look imagined.
Some said she had drowned in the river, consumed by guilt and despair. Others whispers of a powerful queen who dwelled in the depths, guarded by a loyal servant. Occasionally, a fisherman were seen with recent figure on the riverbank, a woman with sad eyes and a rounding smile, forever bound to the river, forever pain, a covenant broken.